Ukraine is on the brink of financial collapse. Default is already on the horizon. The American refusal of weapons and immediately a massive strike on Kyiv. The front is blazing, the east is burning, and the west is watching. Zelensky, no concessions, period. The EU and NATO are watching, Ukraine is counting missiles. Kyiv failed to reach an agreement with investors on debt restructuring. It's about $2.5 billion in GDP warrants. These securities date back to 2015, but the war has changed everything. Ukraine demands a revision. May could become the month of technical default. The IMF aid, the EU, and the country's credit rating are at risk.
We cannot afford to pay these obligations when our economy is devastated by war.
International partners are at a loss. Further financing is in question. The EU fears the disruption of anti-crisis programs. Rating agencies are on high alert. Any delay is a minus in trust and a plus in destabilization.
Without restructuring, we risk losing the entire aid program.
Ukraine proposed to the US to buy 10 Patriot systems for $15 billion, with partial participation from the EU. They were ready to pay, ready to deliver, but the White House refused. Trump personally blocked the deal. The explanation? It's your own fault for starting it.
You don't start a war with someone literally 20 times stronger, and then hope they'll give you missiles?
The result on April 24th, the most powerful strike on Kyiv since the summer. More than 200 aerial targets, air defense shot down 112, but the rest hit. 9 dead, dozens injured, buildings destroyed. Without the Patriot, the capital was defenseless against ballistic threats.
This attack is a reminder that we need protection, not just words of support.
Europe is in shock. Kyiv demands the immediate delivery of missile defense systems. The request is clear. Without modern air defense, there will be neither a city nor a front. Ukraine is left alone under a barrage of missiles and a barrage of promises.
We shot down more than 100 targets, but it wasn't enough. We asked for protection, but received reproaches.
Pokrovsk, Toretsk, Lyman, it couldn't be hotter. The Ukrainian armed forces are holding on, but at their limit. 168 clashes in a day. Russian assaults come in waves, day, night, and then again. Every meter at the cost of wear, blood, and losses.
Russian assaults do not stop day or night. Our army stands firm.
But the front is not elastic. Ammunition, drones, technical support, all are worn out. Partners are delaying. The front may not hold if action is not taken now. This is no longer a request but an ultimatum.
If supplies do not come, the front may not hold.
Negotiations are possible, but only after a ceasefire and without territorial concessions. Neither Crimea nor Donbass nor an inch of land is up for discussion. This is not a position, it's a principle.
Peace is not capitulation. Ukraine will be free and indivisible.
Partners are pushing for compromises. Kyiv refuses, the price is too high. Within the country, there is consensus. Any concessions now would be political suicide. Ukraine is not ready for peace at any cost, only on its own terms.
We will not agree to peace if it means losing territories.
After the strike on Kyiv, statements, resolutions, condemnations. But there are no real deliveries, no missile defense. Long-term support is in question. Kyiv sounds the alarm. Words do not intercept missiles.
Every day of delay is another destroyed home, another buried family.
The war is for the future of Europe. But Europe watches, not intervening while Kyiv holds on. But both supplies and patience are not infinite. Without weapons, there is no victory. Without victory, there is no survival.
Words do not intercept missiles.
And while the Allies cannot decide whether to help Kyiv or not, China is already testing a powerful non-nuclear weapon. See more details in the report.
The Chinese authorities managed to test an experimental hydrogen bomb weighing 2 kilograms. As reported by the South China Morning Post, the bomb did not contain nuclear components, but it can realistically trigger a chain reaction capable of covering a large area with thermal shock.
The developer of the new bomb is the Naval Forces Institute. Thermobaric weapons are very rarely used in the Navy.
A fireball with a temperature above 1,000 degrees Celsius. The device uses magnesium hydride, a chemical compound capable of storing significantly more hydrogen than in cylinders. When activated by a conventional explosive, it decomposes, releasing hydrogen, which immediately ignites. What distinguishes it from similar charges based on TNT? The flame lasts 15 times longer.
The Chinese hydrogen bomb is not a thermonuclear weapon. It is by and large, a chemical conventional weapon, like all regular munitions, ranging from trinitrotoluene to a gas burner. The can be classified as one of the types of thermobaric munitions. Thermobaric munitions are dangerous under certain conditions, especially in enclosed spaces.
Initially, this development was intended for delivering hydrogen to remote areas where it can be used in fuel cells to produce clean energy and heat.
The innovation of the Chinese is that they have identified, found, and highlighted a new technology for binding this hydrogen as a working substance, an explosive substance. Now, it's not the bomb itself that can and should be shared. The question is precisely the technology of saturating magnesium hydride with hydrogen. And any country can try this version of thermobaric weaponry.
Every voice matters. Join our community, support independent journalism and help us bring you the truth from Ukraine. Become a member of Ukraine Today. Join us now.
Chinese engineers believe that this new weapon can be adjusted for specific tasks. What tasks are being referred to, and why has China decided to take this step right now?
The developer of the new bomb is the Naval Forces Institute. In the Navy, thermobaric weapons are used very rarely. The Chinese closely consider coastal states, both small and large, as their main adversaries. That is, starting from mainland China's claims on island China, on Taiwan, for a war with which the Chinese are obviously preparing, and ending with a whole series of open or not so open conflicts in the northern part, well, generally in the Asia-Pacific region.
In 2024, the PRC tested an intercontinental missile for the first time in 44 years. The missile flew about 12,000 kilometers.
The missile forces launched an intercontinental ballistic missile with a dummy warhead into the open sea, in the Pacific Ocean. The missile fell in the expected maritime areas. This test launch is a routine procedure in our annual exercise plan. It complies with international law and international practice, and is not directed against any country or target.
Secret documents from American intelligence mentioned Beijing's successes in developing intercontinental missiles that can bypass Washington's OSUS missile defense system. Also, in 24th year, China tested the latest classified 6th generation fighter jet. The prototype made a successful first flight accompanied by the Chinese 5th generation fighter J-20.
Now it has not only caught up with its, so to speak, ideological and technological predecessor, but has surpassed and left it far behind. This applies to the aviation component, ground forces, and the Navy.
China is actively strengthening its nuclear arsenal as well. In 2023, China had approximately 500 warheads. By 2030, this number could double.
In recent years, Chinese developments of landing ships, or landing barges as they even call them, with a floating bridge. That is, several of these ships not only carry troops on board, but also deploy a bridge onto the shore, bypassing the immediate coastal strip. Obviously, this is primarily not a hint, but a direct indication towards Taiwan.
Beijing officially adheres to a no-first-use policy, but this does not stop it from building up forces and developing the military sector by creating new missiles.
Starting from ballistic missiles to cruise missiles, well, this is a broad field, but also the main direction as a rule. We already see that cruise missiles may not be so much anti-ship weapons as weapons for striking deep into enemy territory.
Beijing is actively investing in non-nuclear strategic technologies, DF-17 hypersonic missiles, long-range precision complexes, as well as electromagnetic and laser weapons. In addition to maritime countries, Beijing is also eyeing the Arctic. China, Russia, and the USA are already competing for it. China has long been present in the Arctic. Its geostrategic significance is very advantageous for these countries. They are ready to share the mineral resources there.
China, which is a large, enormous transit country, transit through the waters of the Arctic Ocean is a short route, and the Chinese are interested in it. And secondly, naturally, the Chinese are looking further ahead. The Chinese are looking at resources of hydrocarbons, primarily in the Arctic zone. Well, at the very least, they want their piece of the Arctic too.
Now Beijing has also turned its attention to Russia. They understand that the Russian Federation is weakened by the war in Ukraine. This opportunity cannot be missed. After the Amur which Putin easily gave to Xi Jinping, other territories of the Russian Federation might be next. China is armed and determined, and Putin understands this.
That's all for today. Subscribe to the channel, like the video, and watch other news tomorrow.